The Critical Draco is a funny person. In this video that I made a couple months ago, and the video that I'm about to show right after this, is all the evidence I need. Be honest, if anyone used the term MCU unironically, would you expect that the person has some sane opinions about women in a pretty prominent role? Be honest.
Oh dear, 2025 hasn't exactly been a bumper year for the MCU, with back-to-back flops in the shape of Brave New World and Thunderbolts.
Well, yes, they did underperform compared to the average MCU project. That's what happens when you burn a lot of trust in a franchise like this. Both movies mentioned are still the more higher grossing movies this year. Although it might change this summer with movies like Superman on the way.
And yes, with less than 400 million at the global box office and its theatrical run all but over, even the most die-hard shills have been forced to concede that Thunderbolts is absolutely a flop.
Again, it wasn't really a flop, it just underperformed. It still made its budget. Okay, this was not really true at all, but at the time I didn't account for marketing or language dubbing or stuff beyond those lines. If those were excluded, then if I take a guess, it barely breaks even. I don't know.
And call me crazy here, but something tells me that Ironheart isn't going to turn things around for them.
You've bitten off a hell of a lot more than you can chew. I can chew a lot.
That means that everything now rests on the Fantastic Four, the third attempt in the past 20 years to make Marvel's first family work on the big screen. And I think it's fair to say, things aren't exactly shaping up well for them. I mean, it started out well enough. The first trailer came out to a mostly decent reception that actually generated some positive buzz for a change. Imagine that in 2025.
You do realize that the buzz on Thunderbolts is mostly positive, right?
Maybe, after a quarter of a century of failed attempts, someone might actually do justice to the Fantastic Four.
That's the question we've all been wondering. Because the movie isn't even out yet.
But leave it to Marvel to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. The problem started out small at first, like the casting of Reed Richards, which turned out to be trickier than expected. Apparently, the studio approached at least 3 other actors to play Reed and they all turned it down. But why would they do such a thing? Who in their right mind would turn their back on a leading role in a big budget Marvel movie with a huge paycheck at the end of it? Well, if I was a cynical man, I'd say it's because they wrote Reed to be a weak, cowardly pussy who gets bossed around by his far more powerful and assertive wife for most of the movie.
Wait a minute, where did you even get this information from?
And the leading men of Hollywood are getting almost as tired of playing characters like that as we are of watching them.
Goodbye, sir. I will not even dignify that argument with a response.
But then, like a knight in rainbow-coloured armour, a saviour arrived to take up the mantle. That's right, it was Pedro, I'll appear in literally anything Pascal, an actor that clearly saw the meme about him taking on far too many roles and said, "More!" But hey, who knows, maybe Pedro would buck the career-long trend of taking on high-profile but inappropriate roles and deliver an absolutely killer performance as Reed Richards.
It's something you should have kept in mind if the movie was out, and not simply because the actor is everywhere.
But then there was the casting of Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, who's 38 in real life and somehow manages to look even older on screen.
What type of stupid complaint is that? There were a lot of times where the actresses themselves play characters who are way more older and way more younger than their age.
But, you know, Pascal is like 50, so it would have been pretty weird to pair him up with some hot young 25-year-olds.
Okay.
What?
Then Vanessa revealed in an interview with Entertainment Weekly back in April that this movie was going to explore the gender politics of Sue Storm and women's place in 1960s culture.
And that's apparently a problem because you do realize that women have been oppressed for more longer than you think. I'm being honest.
Okay, sure. That kind of statement can mean a lot of different things. I mean, the film's set in the 1960s, which was a pretty important time for feminism and women's lib and all that other stuff, so I guess it would make sense to at least acknowledge it.
So you basically acknowledge something that weakens what you just said. Then why are you still acting like that's a problem? Oh wait, it doesn't fulfill your gender, sorry.
Maybe she just means the movie will present an interesting contrast between the kind of expectations and questions that women in 1960s America were grappling with versus the modern day MCU, where they basically act like obnoxious caricatures of men if they were written by 16-year-old gender studies graduates from Portland. So, fine, we're still hanging in there, I guess. Nothing that's gonna spoil anyone's fun yet.
But wait! There's more!
Then there was the decision to make the Silver Surfer, one of the most iconic antagonists in all of the Marvel comics, into a female. Because of course.
Oh, come on!
Oh dear, you sound very upset of the idea that Silver Surfer is a girl now. Surely there is some reason of it being problematic, right?
But Drinker, you clueless connoisseur of comic calamities, I hear you say. If you read the Earth X limited run comic from 1999, you'd know that there's an alternate universe where Shala Bao becomes the Silver Surfer instead of Norrin Rads. Thank you, imaginary strawman that I used to awkwardly transition into my next point. There was indeed a female Silver Surfer in a limited run series set in an alternate reality from 25 years ago, so I guess that technically makes this lore accurate? Sure, let's just go with that.
Wait a minute, you just acknowledged the fact that yes, there was a female Silver Surfer in the comics way before. And that alone weakens your entire complaint. You literally just complain about something, acknowledge said something that weakens your complaint, and you're still acting like it's a problem just for your agenda.
Ryuki, would you mind hitting her with a German suplex?
Later.
The point is, every time another one of these revelations comes out, it became just a little bit harder to ignore what seemed to be a growing pattern.
What are you talking about? The MCU is still being run by men, and the Fantastic Four has more men than women. Or at least in the more prominent roles.
Like, if Marvel were trying to refute allegations that the MCU was taking over everything that they did, they were making life pretty hard for themselves.
There are a lot of ways to counter what he just said there. So I'll just go with this. If your reasons of the MCU being the way it is because of women being more girl bossy or whatever the fuck he's trying to spear out there, that says a lot about you. I'll be very honest here. And if they are gonna go in that angle, that shit been like this since the early stages of the MCU. For example, Iron Man 2 and the Avengers having Black Widow doing badass stuff with her being a woman. If you get what I mean.
But wait! There's...
And then, last week, we began to hear reports of a test screening for the latest cut of the movie, where major details of both the plot and the ending were leaked. A test screening that basically confirmed everyone's suspicions. Now, I'm sorry for what I'm about to show you.
So...
Look, I said I'm sorry, okay? If there was another way to do this, I absolutely would.
My man showed Grace fucking Randolph and acted like that is a sin to even acknowledge her.
I'm okay. I recover pretty quick from these things.
How do I want to phrase this? Even though it's a team of one woman and 3 guys, I think that if you're going to have a situation at the end of the movie where it's women who save the day, and you're like, why? Can't Reed at least be involved? You know, you're like, come on, man, you know, like, come on.
Keep in mind that the movie isn't even fucking out yet, so the shit that she's saying, some of it isn't even true. Or at least yet.
Eloquently phrased as always, Grace. Good job. I mean, if even one of the biggest Marvel shills on the planet is calling out your movie for being too girl bossy, you know you've got fucking problems.
No thank you.
Anyway, the gist here is that the movie culminates with Sue Storm joining forces with the female Silver Surfer to defeat Galactus, with a little help from a superpowered baby, leaving the rest of the lads with, well, not a whole lot to do.
Holy shit, how dense are you? There are countless times in the MCU post-Endgame where it was the men that ultimately saves the day. And for the woman that saved the day, most of the time it's a woman-led movie anyways. Like, I can't even believe what the fuck I am even hearing at this point.
Oh my goodness, it literally is the meme.
Girls get it done.
And all of this begs the rather obvious question, why?
As you can tell, he isn't a big fan of women being in more prominent roles. Sue Storm is one of the more key factors of the Fantastic Four, for fuck's sake.
Why do they keep doing this? Why do they keep pushing the same trope that clearly isn't working and hasn't for years now? Like, did nobody at the studio put up their hand and say, we've been doing this whole MCU thing for like 5 years now, nobody likes it, everyone's making fun of us and it's losing us a shit ton of money. Can we maybe try something else now?
Okay, since you're really pushing the fact that women are one of the main problems of the MCU, I'll just debunk this as saying no, they aren't. Movies aren't bad because of women doing badass things or existing. What makes a movie bad is the other stuff that makes a movie bad, such as suspicious writing points, suspicious CGI, suspicious stuff in general, or just scandalous activity that spits in the face of its target audience. Just to name a few.
When I think of Marvel and their beloved girl bosses, I'm reminded of a junkie trying and failing to get clean. They know that what they've been doing is slowly killing them, they try hard to get away from it and find a better way of living, but somehow they always drift back into their old habits.
This would have been a pretty decent way to describe the MCU right now, if it wasn't for the fact that the context is you not liking women in prominent roles.
By all accounts, the test audience was pretty unimpressed with the film, especially the decision to sideline 3 out of the 4 members of the team.
I don't think I need to explain it. I think you guys get the idea.
What are we talking about?
I mean, the clue in the title is called the Fantastic Four. Who knows? Maybe there's still time for the movie and then boys' chance to be heroes for a change, and this the girl boss does everything once and for all. Oh, they're they do. Otherwise, they might find themselves with 3 plots in a row this year. My hopes, however, are not like the Fantastic Four. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
No, thank you.
Several months later.
Okay, last month Fantastic Four came out. I mean, I should have made this video right when the Critical Drinker made his review on the movie, but I didn't have that much demand. Just like that video that you saw, that video should have been out in June, but like I just didn't have that much demand to post it. So what did Critical Drinker say after the movie came out? Well,
in the great 3-way battle for dominance at the July box office, I don't think many people were giving Fantastic Four great odds. Not only was it going up against a juggernaut like the Jurassic World franchise, which somehow keeps churning out billion-dollar movies despite becoming the dinosaur equivalent of the Fast and Furious, only less coherent, but it was also competing directly against James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, a movie so insanely hyped up that you could almost forget there were actually other films coming out this summer. And it wasn't exactly taking on these competitors from a position of strength either. All of this is to say that Fantastic Four felt like it was counted out before the fight even began. But here's the funny thing, dear viewer, it's actually pretty fucking good.
Oh, you can't make this up. After spending the past month basically doom posting, ended up him liking said product he was doom posting. Like, you can't make this up. Now, it's not to say that you can't be surprised of something. I myself have been surprised of stuff that either A, I didn't think it was going to be good, or B, I thought I wasn't going to care about it as much as I do. And it also just proves that you should take theories or rumors for granted before something comes out. And these batch of tweets basically sums up my thoughts. I'm not going to play the rest of the video because there's nothing much to say there. And I'm going to end it here. TLDR, the Critical Drinker is a funny person when it comes to Fantastic Four. And yeah, this is Forza Doing Poya, and I'm out here. Peace.
Limousine.
Like the capital of Peru?